Unpopular opinion. I've never been a Tron fan. I know that's considered pure cinephile sacrilege, especially for someone who grew up in the 80s, but it's true. I respect Tron. I get its importance. It's one of those films that changed what could be done with visual effects. But in 1982, no one was using computer-generated imagery the way that film did. It was pioneering. It was mind-blowing. It basically built the foundation for what visual effects became, and yet the Academy refused to nominate it for Best Visual Effects because they said computer-generated work was cheating. 40 years later, that decision feels almost surreal, given that every movie now relies on those same digital techniques. So yes, Tron deserves its place in film history. I get that. I admire that, but I could never connect with it emotionally. Even as a kid, whenever Tron came on TV, something about the sound, the colors, the glowing lights, it just lulled me to sleep. It was like staring into a screensaver for 2 hours. Beautiful, sure, but never engaging for me. The story always felt distant. The idea of humans entering a computer world had a lot of imagination, but it never grounded itself in feeling. The original Tron had ambition, but not much pulse. And then came Tron Legacy in 2010, and that one tried to reboot the franchise, bring it into a new generation, and tap into that nostalgia for the original fans. It looked amazing. The design, Daft Punk's music, the scale, but again, it felt empty. It was more about the image than the emotion. And to be fair, that's part of the Tron identity. It's the digital world. It's supposed to feel cold. But for me, distance has always been the thing that keeps me from connecting with it. Now here we are with Tron Ares, Disney's third entry in this long, glowing experiment. I went in not expecting much. I even ended up in an IMAX 3D screening by mistake, but I'll give it credit where credit's due. The 3D here worked. The visual design of Tron Ares actually benefits from the depth, the lines, the geometry, the glowing grid. It all layers nicely in that format. But for once, it didn't feel like a gimmick. The 3D actually made the movie feel like the digital world had physical texture. Visually, the movie is stunning. But here's the thing. That same beauty also becomes the problem. It's the film that's easy to admire, but hard to feel. The story follows the same kind of arc we've seen before in sci-fi. You got the artificial intelligence, a sense of rebellion, questions about creation and humanity, trying to control what it doesn't fully understand, and it's Terminator meets Short Circuit. That's really the best way I could describe it. You've got Jared Leto as Ares, who feels part machine, part child. He's like Johnny Five, who got existential upgrade. And Greta Lee brings some real presence. She's got that protective, determined energy that reminds me a bit of Sarah Connor meets Ali Sheedy. So you've got that combination, a creator, a creation, and the tension between what it means to be alive. But even with that setup, that story doesn't move very far. It just loops through the same philosophical questions that Tron series has always circled. What makes something human? What happens when technology becomes self-aware, and where that line between user and program begins to blur? These ideas sound big, but in Ares they stay more decorative than emotional. And in the end, it's corporate greed and misuse of technology. There's also this heavy amount of fan service here. That movie drops in the visual cues, the callbacks, the tone, and the sounds that older fans will recognize. In the glowing discs, the blue circuits, the identity programs, all of it returns. And honestly, if you've loved Tron for years, this will feel like a tribute. For you, it probably hits all the right notes, but for someone like me, who respects this franchise but never felt any in my bones, Ares reinforces that distance. It's impressive, but it doesn't connect. Now, I'm going to be a little bit biased, so let's talk about what does connect, and that's the music. I'm a huge Nine Inch Nails fan, so Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross is outstanding. And Nine Inch Nails is what drew me in the most. The industrial tone fits perfectly with the Tron world. You can feel the mechanical heartbeat of the movie through their work. The bass reverberates through the chest, and for a few moments, the film actually feels alive. And it almost like the music is carrying the emotion the script forgot to include. Now, there is an argument who did it better, Daft Punk or Nine Inch Nails. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. And that's what stood out for me. Not the story, not the characters, but the sound and the look. It's a film built on design and tone. It also worth noting that Disney has a lot riding on this one. The Tron franchise has had a long, uneven history, an original cult status, decades of dormancy, a mixed sequel, and now this. It's a major gamble to treat it like a blockbuster again, especially in an era where audience attention is stretched across streaming superhero fatigue and nostalgia burnout. But for fans, Ares probably feels a well-deserved continuation. It honors the world they grew up with. And for everyone else, it might feel like walking through a gallery of neon lights, beautiful to look at, but emotionally cold. And when I left the theater, I felt like I just attended an album release party. It was loud, polished, and full of atmosphere, and I loved the music. I admired the craftsmanship, but I also left knowing I wasn't the audience this film was built for. It's okay for movies to be that way. And some are built for emotion, some are built for admiration, and Tron Ares is built for admiration. It's beautiful, it's shiny, it's proud of what it is. But for me, it's all surface. It's spectacle without connection. And if you're a fan of Tron, you'll probably love being back inside the grid. And if you're just here for the sound and the color and the nostalgia, it's a pleasant ride. But if you're looking for something deeper, something that reaches beyond the glow, this one might leave you standing in the dark and listening to the hum of the machine, waiting for something to feel. Thank you for going on this film journey with me, and as always, be real.